Good morning, and I hope everybody can actually hear me today. I think we had some technical difficulties last week, so if you can hear me, please just drop a comment in the comments box for me quickly just to confirm that we've got no technology issues happening today. That would be wonderful. So we're a few minutes late. I think all of those kids on the internet is definitely having some impact on our internet. So thank you for your patience. Good morning. So today we're talking about managing routine. So I think everyone is probably struggling a little bit. We're 4 or 5 weeks into this whole work from home thing, and our energy levels are probably waning a little bit. And I know for sure mine are. And there's so many different reasons for it. So today we want to have a quick chat about all of the issues that we're all facing at the moment and discuss everything from managing our energy levels through to creating some sort of routine and how we can actually incorporate homeschooling and playing with our kids into everything that we're doing today. So to start up, the first thing I want to talk about is managing our energy. And I think one of the things that actually contribute to that is around having a really good routine. Now, your routine that you had when you were going into the office every day is probably very, very different to the routine that you're actually experiencing now. And there's so many different factors for that. You're also probably feeling like your energy is being depleted a lot faster than it was previously. And again, there's factors that cover everything from our physical, our mental, and our emotional load at the moment. So physically, we're probably not moving as much as we previously did in the office. We're not walking to work. We're not going out for that coffee with our colleagues. We're not getting up and going to a meeting. We're sitting there stagnant pretty much all of the day. And last week we spoke about using all of the different spaces in your house to move around, to create activity, and to use different opportunities to shift your mental space. But I mean, I'm just as guilty as everyone else. The fact of actually shifting and moving around, it's difficult to do. It's such a conscious effort. So we're having to physically consider those things. So sitting there all day, our blood sugars aren't being regulated. So we're getting that afternoon lethargy. So looking at different ways of shifting up your routine to ensure that you're having that physical activity. The other thing that's happening is we're spending so long now connected to a screen. So we've got physical eye strain, which is mentally exhausting. We're constantly connected to a screen. We're not having that opportunity for our eyes to take a break because we're not having the need to focus on anything long distance. We're also having to focus really quite heavily on the people on the other end of the screen. We're not getting those physical body language cues that we normally do, so we're having to mentally consider and process everything that's going on and be far more alert and conscious of what's happening. So that's also taking a strain. But just also emotionally draining as well. We're having to think about things that previously just were second nature. So we used to have all of these physical environment cues that would guide us through our day, and we're now having to mentally to process that and to think about that and do it consciously rather than it just being done unconsciously. So there's a lot of different things that are contributing to our energy depletion. So what we need to be looking at is how can we create new routines to create new energy patterns and to sort of give us those boosts throughout the day. And one of the ways that you can do that is to start to look at what actually energizes you. So what gives you a boost? What gives you the opportunity to get up, to move around, to think about what actually you enjoy doing and what you feel good about doing after you've done it. So make a list of those things. It could be anything from going and playing with the kids. It could be going for a walk. It might be doing a creative activity. It might be phoning a friend. Make a list of those things. It could be as simple as having a coffee or reading a book, going for a walk in the garden and smelling the roses. It could be anything that is really that simple. So make a list of those things, and then also make a list of all the things that deplete your energy. What really drains you? So what is it that you really don't enjoy doing that you know is going to be really mentally straining, mentally heavy, and just have that consciousness around what it is that's, you know, what's energizing you and what's draining you. And when you have that list, it's important then to try and limit the things that drain you. And I can appreciate that many of those things may actually be associated with the work you need to do, and that's just part and parcel of your role. So it's important then to top your tank up with the things that do energize you. So being aware of that and making sure that you're balancing out your day by adding in the things that that do energize you, so that you are, you're well-rounded and you're feeling good about what you're accomplishing each day. So it's around having more of something and less of something else. Creating a loose routine is also a really good idea as well. And, often we have very much a structure and we have a lot of certainty around what we need to be doing on a day-to-day basis when we're going to work, because we have a process, we have physical cues that guide what we're going to do every day. So we get out of bed at a certain time, we have a process for preparing to get ready, we have a way of getting to work, we have a time then to mentally prepare ourselves and get ready for that, and then we have a series of physical cues as we enter our workplaces, and it guides us through our day. We don't have that at the moment. So it's important to try and create some sort of structure and a little bit of certainty around it, because when we have those things, we're unconsciously going about our day. But right now we're having to consciously think about everything that's happening and plan for it. So if we can have some sort of repetition and some sort of structure that's happening in our day, that takes away some of that mental and cognitive load, so that you can actually start to work your way through the day and have a little bit more, a little bit more mental ease. Another really good tip is having an hour of power in the morning. Now, everyone's hour of power is going to look very, very different. And I know that mine has looked very different through different stages of my life as well. Right now, my hour of power is a coffee with my husband in the garden while the bub runs around and has a play in the morning. And that's just, that's how we start our day. And then we go and have a shower and get ready and prepare ourselves for our work day. Now, in past life, my hour of power might have been getting up and going for exercise. It might be doing meditation. It might have been doing some journaling and preparing myself mentally for the day ahead. Now, your hour of power in the morning is going to look very different depending on who you are, what your circumstances are, and what your personal preferences are. You might not be a morning person. I'm not. I particularly would rather stay in bed snuggled under my doona than get up and go for a run in these chillier mornings. But that might not be your preference. So find something that works for you and that you enjoy doing, and have a really great start to your morning, because how you start the day is going to set you up for the rest of your day. So being really conscious about that and quite deliberate about it is going to help you get into the right headspace and get your day off to a really great start. It's just really about finding what works for you. Now, another big one that we're finding, and even our team is really experiencing this, but it's being conscious of what our outcomes are over the hours that we're doing. So one of my team shared that one of her friends is really struggling with working from home at the moment, because she might duck off and put the washing on, and she spent 10 minutes getting the washing on. So she feels like she's then got to add 10 minutes onto the end of her day. So that can obviously, every little task that you do throughout the day that you might just get slightly distracted with, and you're tacking on all of this extra time, your day is going to get really, really extended. Now, personally, I think we can be more productive at home during this time, but we can also not be, because there's a lot of external stresses that are happening to us at the moment. So I think what we need to be really conscious of is, what are our outcomes that we need to be achieving every day, rather than focusing on the number of hours that we're actually putting into our workday. Now, this is something that I see happen with many corporate workplaces that I work with, is that there's this concern when we move to an agile work environment: if I can't see you, I can't manage you. So it's that whole management by presenteeism. And this has been a really great social experiment to really shift that, because what's happened is we can't see everybody and we can't manage everybody by making sure that they're showing up at 8:30 and leaving at 5 every day. We're having to find different ways to engage with our teams, to engage with each other, and to have different benchmarks around what our productivity is. And so having that measurement of outcomes over hours is going to really start to shift that perspective. So being mindful of what it is that we want to achieve in a day, in the week, being really clear about that, and then being able to tick those things off. So having a really clear to-do list, and having those action items that we want to achieve, because every time we tick something off, we get that dopamine hit and we feel accomplished and we feel like we're achieving something. So having that list and being really proactive around how we manage that. but also being really clear in our communication and setting our expectations. Now, what I really encourage people to do is to have self-leadership around what it is that they know they need to achieve and what they know they can achieve, and then having that ability to communicate that. So if you're not a leader and you're not in that position where you can then be helping your team create their list of outcomes and actions that they need to achieve for the week, maybe what you need to be doing is being proactive and creating your own list of outcomes and actions for the week, and then managing up to your leader and communicating that back to your leader. Being clear and being proactive and showing that leadership of yourself to help communicate with your team and your managers that you are consciously aware of what you need to achieve and that you're actively working towards that. And then having that communication dialogue back with your manager as well to know that you're all working in that way. The other thing that's really important is creating a schedule. So having an understanding of how your day is actually going to run, blocking out the time and working through that. Now, I don't know about you, but we've had to start homeschooling this week. So that's been a whole new challenge and a completely new experience. But my daughter's been given a really clear list of what needs to get done every day. She's got a class timetable. She's been told how much time she needs to spend on everything, and we can kind of map out her day. So understanding and starting with a baseline. So we've started with her day, what does she need to get done for the day, and then what we've done is tried to work around that. So I know that between 8:30 and 9, I need to sort of get her day set up and make sure that she knows what she's got to be doing, and then I can start to plan out the rest of my day. So having a really clear schedule around that, understanding when she's going to need to take breaks, and that I can be available then to help her and support her with any challenges that she's having in doing her schoolwork. And then having that time together at lunchtime, making her a sandwich and making sure she's fed and she's had a break and that she's doing okay as well. So having a schedule and a bit of a routine so that you can work your way through that. The other thing is, many of us are probably at home with our partners, and understanding what their requirements are through the day. So do they have any phone calls or meetings that they need to be attending? Maybe it's about time blocking. Maybe, you take the morning shift and I'll take the afternoon shift, and it's about sharing that load and being open in that communication and that pre-planning. The other thing is you might have little kids and maybe they're napping or you breaks that they need to take. So being conscious of when they are, and then potentially scheduling in a couple of hours of really deep work, or maybe feel like 40 minutes, depends on your kids' schedule, to really get stuck into what you've got to get done. So being conscious of what those opportunities are going to be for you throughout the day and being prepared so that you can jump into those as quickly as possible. I think the other thing that's really key to note here at the moment is breaking everything down into bite-sized chunks. We need to be running in sprints. So having things that, lofty goals around what we actually need to do, and then breaking them down into really bite-sized actionable pieces. And one great method that I particularly use is the Pomodoro method. So it's effectively set the timer for 20 minutes and work hard on and get focused on what you need to do for 20 minutes. I find that I can get so much more productively done because I know that I'm concentrating and I'm focused on that one task. I'm not multitasking, I'm not switching between different things, and I can really get stuck into it, and I can get into a sense of flow and really deliver on that outcome that I need to achieve. So that's another really great tip that I found as well. Another one is really just scheduling in that playtime for your partner, having with your kids, and getting out there and having, go for a run, play ball with the kids, run around the park. If you don't have kids, maybe it's with your fur babies. Find an activity that's going to get you up, get you energized, but you'll feel better for it by having that scheduled time. They will thank you for it too, that you've had the opportunity to spend some time with them. This is quite challenging for them as well. This is definitely not new. This is something very new for us all, but they're at home, and make the most of that opportunity. It's not going to last, and they'll definitely remember this for a really long time. But I think in sort of the last thing I want to leave you with is around, having an end of day reflection, being conscious of what it is that you achieved for the day, what worked really well, what didn't work so well. What could you do differently about tomorrow? What do you need to add into that hour of power in the morning to really set your headspace up and make sure you've got that mental shift to sort of start your day off well, so that you can sort of set the foundation so the rest of the day runs really well? I think having that consciousness around what it is in that space, but also then planning out the day for tomorrow. I think in this particular time, we all need to become really excellent time managers. we are responsible for our own time. We're responsible for getting our own outcomes done. We're responsible for managing how our days are planned. And I think that by having a really clear schedule of what it is we need to get done and how we're going to get it done is going to help set us up for as much success as possible. And then the last thing that I want to leave you with today is around how you finish your workday. How do you signal to yourself that the day is done? I'm finished, I'm clocking off now. And for me personally, I shut my laptop down, I switch off my lights, and I go and have a shower. And that for me that's when I clock off. That's my end of work day. And it's a really clear shift. You know, we physically can't get up, walk out of the office, lock the door, get in the car, or, you know, jump on the bus and go home. We don't have that half an hour of decompression in that transit time anymore. So we need to find new ways to create that mental shift, that third space, to give us that opportunity to unwind from the day, decompress, and to really mentally switch off, because we're not shifting zones as much as we were. So that's definitely something that we need to be really conscious of. So I'm curious to know if anyone else has created any new routines, switch things up. I know Nathan in the group who's with us today. Hi, Nathan. You mentioned that you've started becoming more of a morning person, and then instead of having your lunches at lunchtime, you're exercising and you're getting that energy boost through the afternoon. And that's a really great way of really shifting up your energy, because you're breaking out of that lethargy, you're giving your metabolism a boost, you're leveling out your blood glucose levels, and it's giving you that push through from that afternoon lethargy. Lisa Elliott said a glass of wine is really good for her mental shift, so that's fantastic. I have to say, Lisa, I have been indulging in one or two of those myself. I know a lot of people have actually gone dry for this whole period, but that would be not possible. I had a laugh with another friend the other day, and she was saying that she may start drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, given the fact she's homeschooling. So we're all experiencing things very differently at the moment, and you just got to find what works for you. So has anyone else found anything that's particularly working for them, or something that they've found really challenging in this time? Is there anything that probably has really shifted for them? I know, you know, we've spoken about a lot of things, but we just don't have that sense of routine anymore. We don't have that third space that shifts us from, you know, home to work, that commute or anything else that we've worked, we used to. So keen to hear from anyone else's thoughts there, or if you've got any questions, you know, pop them in the comments box. I'm happy to chat through them. I'll give you guys another minute, and then I'll say goodbye. Oh, just popped in and said blocking out time in her calendar has helped her a lot, and that's actually one that I do, and I color code everything in my diary as well. So I'm a stickler for routine. I love routine, but it's a routine that works for me, and I think it's about finding a routine that works for you. But color blocking and my calendar, I love it. It looks like a rainbow, but I know exactly what's going on, and those color blocks help indicate to me what headspace I need to be in, because I know what activity I need to be doing. So scheduling out my day in that way helps a lot as well. But look, I would love to continue the conversation. So jump over to our Facebook community, community dialogue, and please pop in there any questions, any challenges, any hacks or shares that you would like to offer to other people to help them, you know, improve their quality of life and quality of work at the moment, because I think we're all finding different ways to do things, and we're all being really quite creative in this time, and it's really exciting to see. We're shaking up the 9 to 5 and really creating a new normal, which is really great to see. The other thing I just want to mention too is that we are launching a blueprint. So we started our Workplace Dynamics blueprint, and we're launching the Work From Home edition in the coming week. So what that will be is a blueprint to help you set up the most productive and efficient work from home environment to optimize your day, and to really help you energize yourself and find different ways of working and utilizing your whole home. So much of the research that I've done around working from home is very old, it's very outdated. So I'm saying throw out the rule book, we're shaking this up and we're creating a new normal. So love for you to jump over to the Facebook group, Community Dialogue, and join the conversation, and we'll see you there. Thanks everyone, bye.